almost sure that it'll be easier to clear you from my mind. Struggle with dusty corners till we're filled with fatal bombs. Bomb, bomb, bomb. The situation got upset when I stepped on a memory thought. I did it to myself. That I heavy had to break free from the minefield that you are. Bomb, bomb, bomb. You let it burn, stop on the fuse. The table stand, the screws were loose. I guess you had life. I wish you fall out from a window, take a bad trip to the ground. Ooh. Ain't been a pleasure, see your pressure just before you break a bone. Oh, you're reflecting, I'm deflecting, burning tires to move on. Too many noises, clash the choices, future came and left like ghosts. No more messing, no caressing, heavy panning on the walls. How I did it to myself. Craving a head, practice land, sleep, now my bed is cold inside. You let it burn, spat on a fuse.
It is time here on Night Dreams Talk Radio for the big guy.
This man is no slouch, and he is no crank or strange or in any way.
Well, no, it's not like he's from outer space.
Our ancestors came from outer space.
And that's why we need Gary A. to help us follow this.
They followed them to the moon, and they followed them landing there on the moon.
Yeah, this is entertainment, the Gary A. way.
Every single mission of NASA, starting from Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, every single one was escorted, and every single one the astronauts saw extraterrestrial craft.
Well, anything else?
And on some occasion, it was even piped music into our spacecraft, and they could listen to that.
Okay, well, I have a better idea of who to listen to. Come on, let's have some real fun with the one, the only, he's no phony, the big guy, Gary A.
Well, I can't believe we made it to the end of the week, JC. You know what? You know, the big A could stand for a lot of different things, right?
It sure could. I'm thinking of kind of a compound word right now.
Well, my wife came out last night and used the other A with me, but that's beside the point. You know what? It's barbecue season. And, you know, with the prices of meat going up and down, and actually it's been really reasonable lately, at least here for the next 2 weeks. But, you know, lab-grown meat is the way of the future to feed the world. Now, would you like to have a T-bone steak that was grown in the lab?
No, listen, any food that's got to be chemical processed is not for me, and especially not meat. I couldn't imagine.
I wouldn't want to eat that. You know, could you imagine eating hamburger or slime burger or whatever? I don't know. I really would like to taste it.
No, I'm going to pass on that, but you can have my portion. I think you need it.
Well, you know, a lady who lost her leg in an accident and it had to be amputated, she took the leg home and she looked at it and she goes, you know what? I am not going to let that meat go to waste.
What? I'd love to know the hospital said, okay, yeah, we'll wrap it up for you.
Yeah, they wrapped it up. She took it home and she actually cooked some of her leg. And she said, when the reporters asked her, what did it taste like? And she tasted it, said it tasted like veal.
That's taking cannibalism to the whole next level. My goodness.
I wouldn't want to eat a piece of my body, let alone, you know, I don't know. And maybe it does, you know, taste like veal. A lot of reports, you know, by cannibals say that it's sweet.
I'm going to take their word for it. That's unheard of.
You want a leg to go? Just go over to Nancy's place. She has some left over.
Yeah, I guess, you know, that whole placenta thing, I guess she ate that too.
Well, you know what? Bats. You know, bats that fly around, not the type you swing.
Yes.
They're saying now that bats could slow human aging and fight off, things like COVID and all kinds of diseases.
That's interesting. That's a whole new thing. I've never heard about this. Well, I guess we'll learn more.
I don't know. Just the idea, of that. But hey, would you want to be like William Shatner and live forever? Or would you like this to go peacefully in your sleep at 78?
Right. Is that really William Shatner, though?
Well, here's what I'm finding out. After I'm losing weight, I'm getting more wrinkles. And my breasts are down where my wife's are. That is really disgusting. But here's what I found out. As you get more wrinkles, if you eat more food, the wrinkles go away. They stretch out. It
is. And you mentioned that before. I think I mentioned that to you the other day. You're going to start seeing more wrinkles as the more weight you lose because, well, it's a volume thing, Gary.
Yeah, well, it's called aging and all that. Well, you know what? We got to go live on the radio station. So everybody, the pre-show is over with. Now you get to hear everything over again as we go live. So stay tuned. You're listening to me, Gary, on Night Dreams Talk Radio.
I was sure that it'll be easier to clear you from my mind. Struggle with dusty corners so we're filled with fatal bombs. Bomb, bomb, bomb. The situation got upset when I stepped on a memory thorn. I did it to myself. That I heavy had to break free from the minefield that you are. Just before you break a bone. Oh, you're reflecting, I'm deflecting, burning tires to move on. Too many noises, clash the choices, future came and left like ghosts. No more messing, no caressing, heavy penning on the walls. How I did it to myself.
From Paul Wallace, author of the best-selling trilogy Escaping from Eden, The Scars of Eden, and Echoes of Eden, comes The Eden Conspiracy, Ancient Memories of E.T. Contact and the Bible Before God. The Eden Conspiracy explores evidence of ancient E.T. contact in the Bible's deep past, along with forgotten secrets about human progress, political power, emotional intelligence, and human potential. The Eden Conspiracy will take you around the world, from Australia to Brazil, Guatemala, Mexico, Ghana, Kenya, Italy, Scotland, England, Israel, Palestine, and ancient Sumeria. Archaeological sites in the Levant reveal clues of ancient experiences of close encounters. Meet with world-class scholars and senior figures in military intelligence whose privileged information concerns the hidden layers of covert government in the deep past and in the present day. What was the Bible before it became a book about God? What was it our ancestors wanted us to know? Can we recover their wisdom and build a better future? Why was this layer of information translated out of the Bible? Who made the changes, and with what agenda? And what does any of this have to do with ETs? Eric von Daniken, author of Chariots of the Gods, says, quote, Paul Wallace is one of my best colleagues. Paul has a way of speaking that everyone can understand. I have full respect for him. Get your copy of The Eden Conspiracy by Paul Wallace. Available now at Amazon in paperback or on Kindle. And leave a review to join the conversation. The Eden Conspiracy. Coming to you live from Night Dreams Talk Radio, it's Gary Anderson with the stories that will rock your world.
My neighbor tried to get me fired on Friday.
Stories that make perfect sense.
My Hollywood celebrity neighbor threatened me about a month ago that he would expose me because he hired a private investigator to dig into my background.
Important stories that are easy to follow.
And if I didn't stop the movie from being released, he would expose me.
So strap yourself in and get ready, because Gary is going to get to the bottom of it, no matter how long it takes.
And since they can't stop the movie from dropping, which is going to expose him...
Sorry, we've run out of time for this intro, so let's just do this. Once again, the Sultan of the Story, Gary Anderson.
Well, to all the radio stations that just joined us, I tell you, it's going to be a really interesting night tonight, JC. Well, you know, a lot of our listeners, or some of them, actually went on to that other show. And they fooled around on us, but they came back and they fell in love with Night Dreams Talk Radio. Did you know that, JC?
I do now. I kind of suspected something was going on. There was some cheating, but now we know.
Yeah, but they're back. They're loyal listeners. And who do we have on chat so far?
So far, there's a lot on chat, but there's only 3 chatting that I know of, and that is Kim, Barb, and Bob.
Well, Barb, I saw what you were doing last night. Don't ever do it again on a Thursday. I'll tell you that. Well, who is our guest here today? What are we going to be talking about?
Oh, my. Let me tell you something. Our guest tonight goes by Space Cat. Now, she is best known as the Galactic Whistleblower. She hosts by coming on our show and other shows that she can get her story and experiences out there, so to maybe somebody will learn something and help them and warn them so they don't have to go through the terrible against her will 20 and back secret space program. So that's what's going on tonight.
Well, that's going to be interesting. Well, do you want me to call you Space Cat, or what would you like to be addressed as?
You can just call me Cat.
Okay. Well, Cat, how are you doing this Friday?
Oh, man. I'm doing great.
Well, how old were you when this stuff started happening? Were you interested as a young kid into UFOs? Did you have any encounters with ETs or anything? How did all this start?
Yeah, I mean, I was always a bizarre kid with really, really strong abilities and senses. And I thought it was normal, like everybody could do what I could do. But apparently that was not the case.
And how old were you when this started?
So for most, they start taking most children around the age of 5, but it can start a lot younger. I don't know exactly how old I was, but I definitely do recall an experience from one of my 20 and backs around 5 years old, which is quite interesting.
So they actually came and take you from the security of your parents' home.
Well, from this particular 20 and back that I'm about to speak on, I was actually at Epcot, Disney World, with my family on vacation. So really, they can take you anywhere and anytime they want. So,
I mean, when you were taken, even at 5 years old, I can remember a few things. Like maybe I can't remember my parents' name, but I mean, at 5 years old, I mean, were you scared when this happened? I mean, how did they take you?
Well, for the most part, you don't remember anything. And, you get basically like mind wiped. And when you're taken and you go on these 20 and backs and you're put back in your body, it's like no time has passed. But even if you don't remember, there's usually a significant change inside of you. I mean, even if you can't remember, your subconscious in your body still remembers the trauma.
Well,
So it's like no time has passed by, but in this particular 20 and back, time did pass by because I actually ceased to exist for time. I think about 30 minutes to an hour.
now you mentioned why? How did it come back to you? How old were you when it came back to you when you realized this all was happening?
Oh, I didn't start getting memories back until my awakening back in about 2019. So
And
this is all somewhat recent in the past 4 years that I started to remember and go on this journey of recalling my memories and finding out who I really am and what I've done.
well, are you scared about with your memories?
No, I mean, I've physically died a few times now and have gone back to the source, had life reviews. I really have no fear after everything I've experienced.
Well, let's start off with what do you first remember that you experienced?
So I would say my first memory being very peculiar and having nightmares about, and it kept coming up my entire life. And I'm like, why am I remembering this? What is so significant about this moment? And weirdly enough, well, not really weird at this point. Nothing's weird to me anymore. But both of the two experiences I remember the most had to do with Disney. So one time was I had to have been between like 3 and 5. It was back when Disney had their cruise line called the Big Red Boat. And if you look up stuff about the Big Red Boat, there's like some scandals and I can't recall off the top of my head, but some weird stuff going on with that. And when I was a child, my family was always putting me in these really weird programs for kids. And I come from a family of, I have 4 other siblings, but it was always only me that was put in these programs in different cities and stuff even. And I could never understand why. There's always really weird things that they were having us do. My memory's still kind of fuzzy on it. I just remember it being really bizarre and not and being like exiled by the other kids and ignored and observed, and I could never understand what was going on or why I couldn't be with my family in weird cities that I didn't recognize or know. But so back to this Big Red Boat experience, which also, if you look up Big Red Boat, one of their number one destinations was Little St. James Island, which we all know as Epstein Island at this point. So my memory of it was I was put into one of these kids programs. There's a lot of like really attractive young facilitators, and I remember being on the island and with other kids, and I recall them giving us like these kind of like a jelly orange slice candy with this like sugar all over it. And then I always felt really weird because I had a strong intuition, empath, psychic, all these abilities as a kid that, I didn't know it at the time or understand it. But looking back now, my intuition was always on point. So I don't have any recollection after eating the candies, but I know that I had this protection stuffed animal because of my abilities, and I got harassed by beings and spirits all the time as a kid, terrorized. I never slept at night. So I had protection stuffed animals and blankets. Well, I had this protection stuffed animal, and his name was Doggums. He was a silky stuffed giraffe. And during that vacation, after I got back from that kids thing, I was just in a state of fear, just a complete state of fear. And I came home in a state of trauma and fear. And my stuffed animal and my blanket, which I never separated from, were gone. And I didn't understand where they went, because I always knew where they were. They were always with me. My parents just like blew it off like, oh, you lost it. You know, I'm like, there's no way I would have lost it. Well, from some of my other contacts in SSP who have a lot more memory recall than me, they explain that when some kids are taken, they come in with like stuffed animals and stuff like that, and they take them away. So I didn't learn that until 30 years later. I was like, wow, it makes complete sense. So that was my experience there. Someone who does know me, the same contact, she said I was involved in like the Lolita Express stuff. So only God knows really the horrors that I've been through. I think I'm really protected from those memories at this moment. Eventually I will probably have to work through them, but I'm only given what I can handle. I've had to do a lot of healing, so kind of one thing at a time. The other experience was at Epcot, where I was in the Mexico restaurant with my family, and my older sister had gone on, of course, it's called the River of Time ride that's inside the restaurant. I was just holding on to the bars. And for me, it's just a reoccurring memory, like time didn't exist. Just watching the boats go by, waiting for my sister, and she never came by. And I guess talking back with my family, I apparently vanished, and I went missing for a good 30 minutes to an hour. Nobody could find me. Fast forward, when I learned what really happened, I was in a 20 and back, and I got hit.
Now, Kat, what is this 20 and back? People are wanting to know what that is.
I'm sorry. I probably should give some context to that. So a 20 and back is when they recruit you basically against your will into a secret program. Now, there's many, many different programs in the secret space program, many different factions, many different programs. The particular program I was groomed and trained for was the Super Soldier program. So basically you can do a number of many different jobs when you do one of these 20 years and back. They basically take you out of your body with the highly advanced technology that they have. They take your consciousness out of your body. I don't know exactly how it works. Maybe I'll be able to recall that one day. That would be lovely. But, and then you live a 20-year life cycle doing whatever they have you contracted to do. And then when that 20-year contract is over, you are put back in your body. And usually this happens at young ages, because children are easier to train.
Now, I got to ask you a question. I've talked to other people who said they were in the Secret Space Force, where they were taken as a young child. They were taken to an elevator, and woof, there they were. And they talked about, like they were taken into like a dungeon, a cell. They were tortured. They were stripped naked. They were actually killed and put in a vat and brought back to life and all that stuff. Did you encounter any of that type of stuff? Do you have any memories of any strange stuff like that?
No. Thankfully, I don't at the moment. Like I said, I'm only given what I can handle at the time. And until I really get into regression therapy, a lot of that stuff is obviously very traumatic and hidden from me at the moment. But I can confirm that that very much does happen. A lot of children die, especially in the super soldier programs. They do a numerous amount of experiments on us, and mind control, just horrific things.
What type of branch is it? Like the CIA or a secret branch in the government, or is it something else?
I know it's secret military stuff. I don't know exactly what branches. I do know that the CIA and FBI watch me, so they kind of have their hands in every sector of our society.
Now, when you were recruited against your will at a young age of 5, what do you remember experiences? What is going on out there in space? Are we having wars going on with other races of humanoids or insects, or what is going on?
Oh yeah. It's an infinite number of beings out there, and sometimes they move your consciousness around and they put your consciousness in a clone, or they put your consciousness in an ET body. It's really like, you think science fiction is out there. Well, the truth is stranger than fiction.
So this is more horrible than the worst movie you could find on YouTube on sci-fi, right?
Yeah, but I mean, there's good factions and there's bad factions. I mean, there's sometimes you can get saved from a bad faction and get recruited into a good faction. Like, I did a lot of time travel. That was definitely one of my things. I actually have 22 other children spread across 3.
Now, time travel, can you explain what type of time travel was it? Did you go in the future? Did you go in the past? What was it like?
We did a lot of both past and future. I don't have a lot of memories from it. I'll get like flashes, but it's really overwhelming when it happens because I see so much. It's hard for my human brain on this third dimension that we're in to process sometimes. It's quite intense, and I can technically time travel as I am here. I've done it before, and it can make you go pretty crazy. Let's just say you have to solidify yourself back on this timeline, or it can get very messy.
Well, going in the future, is it going to be like a sci-fi movie? Is it going to be scary in our future?
No, not from my experience at all. Like, about 30 years from now, CIA, FBI won't even exist anymore. So whatever agendas they're trying to drag people in to co-create, it's not going to work. They can't stop what is coming. So New Earth, good things in the future. Now, as far as past traveling, depends on what factions you're in and what their projects are. I mean, sometimes you could go back in time and be killing werewolves and vampire families and stuff like that. Some cool stuff.
Oh, wow. Now, were you ever fighting, different alien races, protecting our planet?
Oh, yeah.
So what is going on?
Yeah, like I said, one of the 20 backs where I actually vanished, it's on this, I don't know if you could see it, but on this side of my body, I have a large scar, and it appeared on my body at about around 5 years old, when it happened. And I found out that it was from getting hit with an energy weapon. Now, what those weapons are designed to do is to torture the soul. So it disintegrated me at the subatomic level, and I ceased to exist. I was just particles floating around in space. Well, this is a problem for them because they needed my body. So I ceased to exist, right? So I guess whatever technology they used, they were able to reclaim my particles and put me back together, but I still have the scar from this.
Now, JC, remember we were talking about, remember the Star Trek? They would go into the transporter, and we were talking, or the movie The Fly, the latest one of The Fly, right? Where the guy goes in there and he didn't realize that a fly went into the capsule and he teleported over to the other capsule and he started turning into a human fly. You remember that one?
Gary, I literally was just giving you a message to remind you about that conversation, because here's the thing. You get your dog's pet, your boyfriend's hair, or God forbid a fly, and that gets mixed up in your DNA. You come back, half fly, half dog. I mean, there's immense possibilities here. It's scary.
I wouldn't want to come back half me and half Marilyn Monroe. You know that.
No.
Goodness. But I mean, did anything like that happen, Kat? Did anybody get transported or anything happen where their molecules or DNA, whatever, got contaminated and something weird happened?
I wish I could answer that. There might be some other whistleblowers out there on the SSP who have had some sort of experiences like that. But for me, it was some sort of like a med bed that, this technology that they have is just so advanced. Like, people have no idea. And like, I have so much trouble with technology here as I am now, because I'm so used to more advanced stuff.
I have trouble with it every night doing the show, so I know how that is. You push a button and all of a sudden it doesn't work, and then you go, oh my God, I don't know what to do. But, again, like the equipment, it would transport you. How did they transport you? Did you step into something, or how did they zap you, and how did they teleport you back in time and in the future? Do you remember any of that?
I mean, we can do this with our consciousness. And like abilities like remote viewing, you can actually train anybody to remote view, and astral traveling. I can't really speak on the technology that they use. I know that in my past lives, I dealt with a lot of time, or I time traveled a lot through using tachyons, which is basically, from my understanding, like a multi-dimensional atom. And I actually was given a tachyon sphere, which is technology, from one of my galactic guides. About this time last year, actually, I got a mysterious package be delivered to my apartment, and it came from a place that I had never heard of, and was hard pressed to believe it was a place that even existed. It was such a bizarre name, and from the name of a person I had never heard of, and inside was a tachyon sphere.
Okay, now,
basically looked like a crystal ball.
Yeah. Now we need to take a break, and then when we come back, you can explain what that sphere does to the listeners. So we'll be right back with Kat in about 3 minutes. You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio. Check out our website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com.
If you're not watching us live on YouTube, you're missing a lot. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and become a Night Dreamer. Coming to you from the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network newsroom, I'm Guy Ticker with The Strange News. The former head of Russia's space agency raised eyebrows over the weekend when he suggested that the United States did not actually land on the moon. I'm Guy Ticker. The Strange News is brought to you by Night Dreams Talk Radio Network. Do you have a strange story? Contact us at nightdreamstalkradio.com. The Archive Project. We need all government, military, and government contractor witnesses to contact Dr. Greer ASAP at info@seriousdisclosure.com. That email address again is info@seriousdisclosure.com. Dr. Greer is archiving his vast trove of documents, witnesses, and UFO cases so they can be shared and give a clear picture of the UFO subject to end the secrecy and establish interplanetary peace. Please join us for our DC conference June 10th through June 12th and support us with your donations by going to this website, www.seriousdisclosure.com. That's SiriusDisclosure.com. Spelled SiriusDisclosure. SiriusDisclosure.com.
I'm losing my mind for the sake of love. I've been trying to reveal it, what I've been so afraid of. Your coldness makes my heart go weak, so numb that I can barely speak. This pain keeps water in the sea. If I weren't so desperate to be free, I'd keep my distance, babe. The more that I know about you, the more that I want you, baby. They say that good love will yield the best from me. I know it to be true.
It is time here on Night Dreams Talk Radio for the big guy.
This man is no slouch, and he is no crank or stranger in any way.
Well, no, it's not like he's from outer space.
Our ancestors came from outer space.
And that's why we need Gary A. to help us follow this.
They followed them to the moon, and they followed them landing there on the moon.
Yeah, this is entertainment, the Gary A. way.
Every single mission of NASA, starting from Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, every single one was escorted, and every single one the astronauts saw extraterrestrial craft.
Well, anything else?
And on some occasion, it was even piped music into our spacecraft, and they could listen to that.
Okay, well, I have a better idea of who to listen to. Come on, let's have some real fun with the one, the only, he's no phony, the big guy, Gary A.
And we are back with Kat. So you got this package from address and city and all that. You didn't even know it existed. And you open it up, and there was a spear in it. What does the spear do?
So, yeah, as the being that I work with, his name is Cryon, Kryon. And I work with this being directly, but there is a man on the planet who channels this being named Lee Carroll. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful being. So the crystal ball is what it looks like. It has Cryon's name etched inside of it, and then it has another sphere inside of it that has, it has the planet Earth in it. And apparently inside of the Earth is tachyon spheres. On the bottom is a magnifier over Antarctica, and right in the middle of it, there is a circle with an X on it, which I can only assume is the entrance to Agartha, aka Inner Earth, where actually a good portion of the beings that we interact with, they're already on our planet. There's tons of them inside the Earth, whole cities, civilizations, you name it.
Now, again, too, these beings in the center of Earth, are any of these, again, Congress is still stonewalling about UFOs, basically saying these things don't exist, which I know they do exist. Let's face it, Roswell did happen, and a lot of other things have happened. People have gone missing. We had cattle mutilation. Are we worried, or should we be worried about these people in the inner Earth? Is any of them unfriendly towards humans? In other words, would they like to invite me and JC and maybe some of the listeners over for a barbecue to be actually the dinner?
Yeah, I mean, they're just like with. They're the same as humans, there's a scale, polarity, like there's good ones and there's bad ones. I mean, you hear all this negative stuff about reptilians, but that doesn't mean that all reptilians are like that. There's plenty of good reptilian species out there. Some of the subterranean species don't want anything to do with us, and others interact with us and help us. I mean, I think at this point, it's pretty safe to say there's probably only 100 million actual humans on this planet. Like, there's a lot of them already walking around next to you.
You mean my wife could be an alien? I sometimes wonder. You ever hear her snore at night? But hey, that's interesting. Again, the listeners want to know: were you ever marked, besides that scar you got, from a laser blast or a blast or whatever, when you were 5 years old? Have you been labeled, numbered, or anything on your body?
No, not that I know of. I definitely know that I have chips. I definitely have chips in certain places in my body. I've found them, but there are psychic ways to deactivate those without getting invasive surgery. In fact, I think that's the best way to counteract those. But my heart goes out to all the people out there suffering from these implants that are put in their body, because it can really cause a lot of chaos in your life. But
I can. Kat, I was reading an article in one of my science journals I subscribe to. A guy thought his hand was implanted, so he actually deactivated the safety on his microwave, and he put his hand in his microwave to kill the implant. Unfortunately, you know what happens if you put steak in a microwave, right, and you cook it. He lost his hand from doing that. So what did he accomplish?
Yep. So luckily in this day and age, there's so many spiritual practitioners. You can look for practitioners that perform psychic surgery, and they can really assist in removing these things or deactivating them.
Yeah. Now, whistleblower, what is going on that you want the people to know? What is going on out here that's important?
Well, I actually got the title last year of the Galactic Whistleblower because apparently back in October 2022, an aspect of me was in, I guess, galactic court, if you want to call it. And she whistleblew on everything she experienced in the programs, how the good guys made money, how the bad guys made money, and a lot of it had to do with human and child trafficking. Now, this hasn't fully manifested here in the 3D yet, but it will be coming. I know I'm a seer, so I can see into different timelines and dimensions. So for the most part, I know what is coming, but I get dates here and there. But, with free will, things can always change. But as far as my guide Cryon has communicated to me, it's already in the field that this stuff is going to come out. Now, I have specifically gotten just like buckle up right now, because it's about to start coming out and trickling out over the next 3 years. It's going to be a lot of changes. There's a lot of people that think it's going to take a long time. It's not going to take as long as people think to clean up this mess. And about the next year of the snake, 2025, and the next year of the horse, 2026, we will see a profound shift in consciousness in society, to where even everyday people who are unaware of this stuff will see the shift. So buckle up. It's going to be an interesting next 3 years.
So what you're saying is whatever is going on, they're taking young kids and traffic them. And what else are they doing? I mean, again, if you really think about it, if you take a 5-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 3-year-old, whatever age child, and you put them in some type of program against their own will, because at 5 years old, according to law, you don't have any, faculties to figure out what is right, what is wrong. So they take you, and isn't it like torture?
Yeah. And I'd say, like, 98% of people don't remember and they don't get recall. And unfortunately, this is very triggering, but a lot of us don't make it, especially depending on what kind of programs you were in. It's very common. Suicide is very common, and or falling into the cycle of drugs and alcohol, because so much has happened to you. Even though you don't remember it, you're still trying to cope in some way.
Well, I can see what you're going through, and the other people, that have been taken and put into these programs, because, we've had some very famous people. We actually had a lawyer who ran in 2016, if I remember right, JC, for President of the United States. And that's what Andrew
Bashago, yes, he's been on those secret space missions. We also had, Randy Kramer, too.
Yeah, they were taken, again, when they were young. And the stuff they went through, I mean, everything from going to Mars, going and fighting, different, aliens, to being taken away and then time transported and all that stuff. And I think it really, doesn't it affect you as an adult when it started filtering into you? I mean, doesn't it affect your life?
100%. I honestly should not even be alive right now. It's quite frankly a miracle. And I've died several times already, and like I said, I've gone back to the source, and it is the most, words can't describe what a beautiful experience it is. And the last time this happened to me, I had a full life review and everything, and then I was told, you got to go back, you have a big mission and purpose here, and your work's not done. And I woke up alive again.
How many times? Okay, they snag young people, right, and put them in these different programs, and then you fill the contract. Which at 25 years old, you don't even have an idea what a contract is. So you're into it for 20 years, and then they put you back into your body again, and you continue on. But then I've heard horror stories, Kat, where they were taken back again and again and again. Has that happened to you?
Yes, I was one of those. In fact, I was taken out of my body 12 times for a combined amount of 240 years. So basically, I am 274 years old.
Well, you're darn good looking for 240 some years old, I'll tell you that.
Thank you.
Now look at my producer. He's only 72 and he looks 90. But anyway, if you think about this stuff, I mean, again, what is the whole purpose of taking these young people and putting them in these programs? What are they accomplishing? What is going on out here?
Well, what is always the purpose? Money and power. Money, power, control.
Are we trying to conquer the universe?
Well, it would be very foolish, because in this galaxy, we are the new kids on the block. We are the babies. Humans are the babies. There are species that are so much more advanced and ascended, and the Prime Directive was changed. So now, like the Galactic Federation, they can interfere. So we're actually getting a lot of help now. But things have gotten so bad because there was this no interference, things set in place, and we just got eaten alive. So it would be very foolish for us to think we could conquer the universe.
Well, I don't know. Is there Nazis involved in any of these groups?
That's funny because, I'm a psychic, right? And I was just getting the Nazis. Yeah, the Nazis are all over space. They are not fun to work with, obviously.
Well, how do they, what's their purpose? Are they tied into human trafficking and all that?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, I can't I can't really speak on that much because, like I said, I still have a lot of memory to regain. 240 years is a lot. So I have a long journey ahead of me of slowly regaining my memories and them trickling out. But, I have a huge team of galactic beings, ancestors, angels. I talk to them all. In fact, I have wind chimes all over my room that they use to communicate with me, but I can also telepathically communicate with them.
So again, on this whistleblowing, what do you want to get out to the listeners? What do you want to get out to the world? We do have a good listener amount on the radio stations, at the internet and stuff like that. What do you want the people to know?
Hope. And I want them to know how powerful they are. Our whole system is set up for us to not remember who we are and not to take our power back. If each individual awakened to who they are, which is really, we're all part of the same source, the same one, which is love and light, pure love, pure light. These negatively oriented beings, which are still part of source as well, they're just disconnected, and they serve their purpose as a teaching and learning device, as brutal as that sounds, but really we're all eternal beings, we're all part of the one, we're all unique expressions of the creator experiencing itself, and when we ascend to a certain level, we'll be the purveyors of the next species, and in co-creation. I just want people to take their power back, because in order for things to truly change, we have to be at 51%. That's when the mag release starts happening.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to see if we can get one or two callers in to ask you some questions. We'll be back with Kat right after this. You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio. We'll be right back.
I'm losing my mind for the sake of love. I've been trying to reveal it, what I've been so afraid of. Your coldness makes my heart go weak, so numb that I can barely speak. This pain keeps water in the sea. If I weren't so desperate to be free, I'd keep my distance, babe. The more that I know about you, the more that I want you, baby. They say that good love will yield the best from me. I know it to be true. This moment won't last forever. No remedies whatsoever. These feelings we choose to pass on for lesser love. You know it to be true. I'm lost in a manic dream. It weighs on me endlessly. Your tenderness drifts in the wind. The depth.
Captain Paul Watson was a co-founder of the Greenpeace Foundation in 1972 and the founder of Sea Shepherd in 1977. In 2022, he was forced out of Sea Shepherd in a hostile takeover. So, he established the Captain Paul Watson Foundation to carry on the work they've been doing for half a century with the specific strategy of aggressive non-violence, which means aggressive intervention without killing or injuring anyone. They took the name he created and the logos he designed, but they couldn't take away his life's mission. The Foundation will carry on. This summer, with their new ship, the John Paul DeJoria, they intend to intervene against the Icelandic slaughter of endangered fin whales. And in 2024, they plan to be in the Southern Ocean Whale Sanctuary to stop the return of Japanese whalers who will be defying the International Court of Justice. They have one ship, but they need 2 more. Please visit paulwatsonfoundation.org to become a monthly donor. By becoming a monthly donor, you can help grow their Navy and help save our oceans. We don't survive on this planet with dead oceans. If the oceans die, we die. Please visit now www.paulwatsonfoundation.org. You are listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio Network, the home of Night Dreams Talk Radio, with Gary Anderson, syndicated worldwide. Paranormal Talk Radio, like you remember.
And we are back. We actually got 2 people on the phone. Who do we have?
Oh, right here, right now?
Is this me?
Yeah, well, we got 2 people on here. Who do we have on the call-ins?
This is Lori.
Hi, this is Max. And
Okay, let's start off with Lori first. What question do you have for Kat?
Well, I'm actually Kat's galactic mother, and I'm here to support her.
Okay, do you have a question or anything you want to say?
Well, I just want to say that I'm just so very proud of her.
Okay. Well, our second caller we have on there, Matthew or Matt, I wasn't sure. What is your question?
hi, this is Max in Portland, Oregon. Hi, Gary. Hi, Kat. I have a question for Kat.
Hi.
Go ahead with your question.
Hi, Kat. Hi, yeah, my question, could you whip your tits out? I love your blue hair. Does the carpet match the curtains? Do you think Howard Stern has a huge penis?
Okay, well, that's one of those people here. Well, again, that's what happens when we're on radio stations. Well, it's one of those nights. It's a Friday, Kat. What can I say?
I'm used to it at this point.
Yeah, you gotta see some of the emails I get.
I bet.
Yeah. So again, our time is winding down. What do you want to say to the listeners?
I just want to say, keep your vibration high. Remove all sick people, places, and things from your life. Good things coming. Just hang in there. It's gonna be okay. And much love to everybody out there. If you would like to support me, I am starting a YouTube channel soon, and it will be under Galactic Whistleblower. I have a link tree that you can actually find all of my links on, and that is under Galactic Whistleblower as well. But I do psychic readings, tarot, and oracle. It's a hobby of mine. It's pretty fun. So if you would like to get in contact with me, it will be under my link tree.
And what you can also do is get that information to my producer. We'll put it up on our website because we get about 27,000 hits a day on our website. Well, Kat, it was very interesting, and, again, if anything new and memory comes up, get a hold of the producer. We'll get you back on. I want you to have a fantastic weekend. And if I can see it right, you need to have a barbecue this weekend.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, kid, you take care. Well, JC, who's some of the guests we got coming up next week?
Hey, we got some fantastic guests coming up, Gary. Let me tell you. For instance, on next Wednesday, we got Alan Steinfeld coming on. And his whole thing is ETs and making contact and a whole different change of reality after that has happened, Gary.
Okay, and who else do we have?
Well, then we got Glenn Steckman coming on, and he's going to be talking about aliens and ET on other, like the moon, Mars. Is there settlements there? What's going on? Maybe even inner Earth. And then we're going to have, we're going to have Russ Haslage come on. Now, he owns that website that, carry a bunch of apps, I believe.
That is interesting. And then we got a whole bunch more guests. Go ahead and tell everybody who we had to the end of the month.
Okay, then we got Mark McNabb and Rob Freeland coming on, and that's next Friday. Listen, they are fantastic UFO documentary filmmakers. They have not just filmed it, they've experienced stuff. I mean, some mind-blowing UFO paranormal stuff while they were out on their ventures filming and making this movie. Then the following week, we have Les Johnson coming back on. He's going to be talking about, space and his sci-fi books. And then we're going to have Mark D'Antonio come on. He is worldwide known for analyzing UFO films and videos and pictures, and he is well known for that. He's been on a lot of documentaries. Really looking forward to having him come on. And then Paul Blake Smith's coming on, and he's going to talk about the 1941 Cape Girardeau, I think it's Girardeau, and Missouri UFO crash. So that's going to be very interesting. And then we're going to have James Clarkson come on. He is known as the UFO detective, and he's going to be talking about UFOs and law enforcement and the encounters between the two. So that pretty much covers the whole month. Well, there's a couple more. Yeah, that covers the whole month as I've got on my sheet, but I think there's another date like the end of the month there.
And then also in April, we're working on bringing in Bigfoot Dogman guest on to talk about it. You went to that... that festival here this last week. What did you think about it on Bigfoot?
Listen, that set records. I read afterwards, there was over 5,000 people there, set records. It was mind blowing. I mean, I've got some pictures hung up with Cliff Brackeman, and as very well known, we talked a little bit. And of course, one of our sponsors here, Mike Duper, I talked to him for a while, and they're out there. They're not just talking it; they're out there actually tromping in the woods. But there was a lot of people there, Gary, and a lot of them have had encounters. Maybe not on the level that you've had, but there's been a lot of people that have a lot of encounters that were there.
Well, since I'm a night hawk, what I like doing at night to unwind before going to bed, I go on YouTube and watch, movies. They got a whole bunch of movies on Bigfoot. And I tell you, I've seen everything that was so bad to actually scary. But I can tell you the other night I watched this one. I was out there and watched 3 Bigfoot movies back to back. So I was about 7 hours of Bigfoot movies, right? And I go to bed very quietly. I get into bed, get the covers on. I fall asleep, and I swear to God, in my dreams, I was being attacked by a Bigfoot. I wake up, I sit up, and it was my wife snoring.
It wasn't Bigfoot growling. It was just your wife snoring.
Yeah, snoring. And it sounded like the Bigfoot in those movies. I tell you, whoever does that, the masks, nobody knows when they make these movies. I'll tell you what, you ought to see all the difference of Bigfoot faces.
Oh, I could just about imagine the different movies. It's funny you mention that because there was a really, really good documentary recently released. And then at the end, they ruined it by this woman saying it was real footage from an airplane, and you could tell it was a guy in a mask. It was just so bogus. It was crazy.
Well, the dead giveaway, you look around the eyes and there's a gap, between the face and the eye socket. There it is. I mean, they could have spent another 50 cents for makeup and put putty around it to make it look more realistic. But this one was so bad. It was so bad. The face looked like it was made out of plaster.
Yeah. And then,
didn't move.
some the suits they wear look like little kids' onesies. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. You can see that the top part was hanging over the other part, or if you look really close, you could see the seam in the back. Again, what I am scared of these idiots that go and put these costumes on, and I know one of them that starts with a W. That go out and one of these days they're going to get killed. Somebody go, oh my God, that's a real Bigfoot, right? And I got my 30-06. Pow! Right in the old kisser. And then they go over there. Hey, I'm going to cut the head off the Bigfoot and bring it back and realize it's their next door neighbor.
Listen, you are literally playing roulette when you do that. Because listen, there are some places like Oklahoma and Texas, them good old boys, they might not be in it just to bring one in for alive, as you say. They might want to bag one for science.
I don't know, but I can honestly tell you they're out there. And you know what? It's getting more people believing in them day by day. You know, we got a big festival coming up in Washington because you know what? Washington was the birthplace, really, sightings of Bigfoot. So I don't know. You got another one you're going to in the near future, aren't you, or something?
Yeah, there's actually a Monster Fest coming in June. You've got the Mothman Festival in September, and then there's another Bigfoot one. I think it's in November or December back down there at Salt Fork. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, don't forget to catch the Hitman on Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific West Coast time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'll tell you what, if you want to be scary and listen to a scary show, the Hitman does it. And if you don't listen to the show, he's going to send Guito over your house and he's going to say, why are you not listening to my show? Now that will not be on YouTube. That'll be on Apple. It'll be on Speaker. It'll be on all the apps, or you can go to our website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. I keep thinking what the guy said about Cat. I'm sorry. That was kind of funny, but that reminded me of the days when I was working at some major radio stations in the past. We'd get a lot of those type of calls. Well, anyway, everybody have a good one. Rory, you know what? I'm going to play next week some new music just for you. Everybody have a good one. Stay out of trouble.
Son of a southern man, daughter of a freedman, children of the Civil War. Blackbird on a limb, both of them diving in deeper than they've been before. And down a red dirt path, covering their tracks, strangers in the light of day. Can't fight a